My 40 male wife 30 female cheated after 14 years while drunk but wants to fix things. I'll try to make this as brief as possible, and I doubt anybody will read it, but maybe just writing it down will help me. My wife was my closest companion. The previous 14 years have been fantastic for the most part. I loved her more than anything else, and she adored me as well. She is a wonderful person with a fiery temper, but she was the yin to my yang. I am a pretty even-tempered person who tries very hard to pause and think before acting, while she is a little more carefree and emotional. But it was a terrific combination. She was the other half of me that I was missing, and I was the other half of her. For many years, we had been a happy, childless couple. She had always said that she did not want to have children. I had a daughter many years before we met, and she helped look after her when she came to visit. She was an excellent second mother for her. We experienced our ups and downs, just like any other marriage. Years ago, she had some troubles with becoming too close to a coworker. She originally lied about the difficulty, but we finally worked through it, and I believed we were stronger than ever. We spent a lot of time together in the town. We drank a bit more than we should have for our health, but neither of us had a drinking problem. We both worked in hospitality, so it's something that comes with the territory. Then she decided against having a child. Maybe it was the fact that she hit 30 and baby fever set in, or maybe it was watching her sisters so happy with their children that swayed her opinion. It truly doesn't matter. But one night, we had a talk, and I told her that I would love to establish a family with her. However, the time was inconvenient. The short explanation is that both of our employment were potentially about to terminate, and we had no idea what would happen in the near future. We gradually got back on our feet after a horrible year in which we lost everything and had to start again. During the difficult times, she began to drink more and more. She comes from a family of alcoholics. Things went quite terrible with her conduct for a spell due to drinking and despair from having to start again. But, as I previously said, we pulled ourselves out of it, got back on our feet, and began putting our lives back together. Her drinking, on the other hand, remained an issue. She'd get drunk and start calling me names. She became inebriated at work and was fired for drinking on the job. She was still my wife, and I loved her, so I attempted to support and assist her. She would stop drinking severely for a time, then return to it a few months later. When she was sober, she was always apologetic, and most of the time she was still fine, but once a month or so she would get intoxicated and tell me she hates me and is leaving me for a genuine guy who would have a family with her. I attempted to convince her that we couldn't have a family while she was drinking and behaved like this. Things began to deteriorate a few months ago. She began drinking every day, even concealing booze and lying to me about it. She also began doing snow virtually every day. I don't pass judgment on snow usage. We'd done it together a few times before, but not frequently. She was deceiving me about her snow consumption. I challenged her numerous times, reminding her that she had told me she wanted to establish a family, but was not behaving in a manner that would allow that to happen. Then something occurred. She was with a person I believed was a buddy, but it turned out he wasn't. She was inebriated, and they were smoking coke together. He and I had previously discussed our issues, and he utilized that knowledge to tell her what she wanted to hear. He tricked her into getting laid. Yes, she still did it, and it was her choice. She had not been aped. But he did prey on an inebriated woman, gave her snow, and then booted her out of the home after he was laid. That night, I had to take her up. She told me about how they were going to grab more snow from his home when he began vomiting, and she just wanted to get out of there. I believe I could have forgiven her on the spot if she had come to me soon after that occurred and confessed and was prepared to change. Get her assistance and try to move on. That, however, did not occur. I discovered the text they exchanged approximately a week later. When I challenged her, she informed me what had transpired, and she agreed to leave and return to her parents' place. That is where she is right now. When I saw the texts, I had no idea she was as screwed up as she was that night. I also had no idea how much he had exploited her in order to be laid. I'd subsequently discovered that he's done this before, and that it's his go-to method for getting laid. He is a nasty guy who waits and preys on weak females. That is disgusting. She is really sorry. She recognizes that what she did was wrong, and she confesses that what transpired that night was her fault, even though he spoke what he needed to say. She wants to attempt to solve this problem and preserve our marriage. She has already stopped drinking and has said that she would never drink again. She claims she was upset that we didn't have a family, but she knows it was because of her. She has said that this was the rock bottom she needed to reach in order to repair herself and return to the person she once was. I'm at a loss on what to do next. She was my closest companion. She was my life's love. I know that none of this would have occurred if it hadn't been for the medications and drink. But how can I ever be able to trust her again? Even if I can ultimately trust her again, our main issue was establishing a family, and I don't believe I can trust her enough in the time we have left to do so. Her biological clock is counting down the days till she dies. Nothing would make me happier than to reclaim what we had before our lives were shattered, yet nothing can turn back the clock. Nothing can reverse what has occurred. I realize that no one is flawless, even myself. But am I simply causing myself more pain in the future? What should I do? Yes, I was imprecise on several things, including age, to maintain anonymity. No, I was not Hunter. We were coworkers as well as friends. She was 20 years old, and I was 27. Yes, she was a few years younger than I was, but we were friends who had just gone through a nasty breakup. We began chatting and bonding, and things progressed from there. Also, it took us more than a year to get back on our feet. We've been talking about having a kid for some years now. Story 2. 28 male, my fiance 27 female cheated on me with some random guy at a club on a girls' night out. We're supposed to get married in a month. NTPSD. Yeah, I know, the simple solution is to chuck her unfaithful butt. But I'm sure you're aware that it's not that straightforward. Here's our tale. We've been dating for 6 years, and none of us has ever been unfaithful. We had a furious argument regarding private matters till last week. Later that night, she'd been preparing for weeks to go downtown to a bar with her college sorority pals. So she went with her pals, enraged at me, and I enraged at her. So she departed. I watched Shark Tank, and then went to bed at 12 a.m. I wake up weeping 4 hours later. Because we're in an apartment, sound travels easily. My fiancé is on the sofa with her buddy, and my fiancé is having a good time. I get agitated and inquire as to what is wrong. In the short tale, my fiancé got really intoxicated and got up with a man in the women's toilet. Her friend informed me that she had lost my fiancé in the throng and that when she spotted her again, she was weeping in a corner. My fiancé begged my forgiveness and promised she'd never do it again, and then she puked on our floor. I told her friend it was okay to go home, and I talked sexual other than make out with the man. And for those who believe the debate isn't a big problem, I thought it doesn't matter since it's anonymous. She's been a smoker since I met her, and I've been trying to get her to quit for the last year for the benefit of herself and our potential family. It doesn't justify what she did, but it's clear it's not a light issue. But what I don't get is why she couldn't talk to me about it for a week, despite the fact that it was such a mild intimacy as simply kissing. I'm not sure whether I believe it or not. I'm going to ask her buddies what they think. My fiancé claims it was just a few minutes before she recognized what she was doing and promptly stopped. I believe I will be able to forgive her, but I will never forget. I'm still not sure what to say to the family, but at least I'm aware of the facts. Thank you everybody for your assistance. I'll keep you updated. Edit 2. I just got off the phone with some pals with whom she went to the club. My fiancé into bed, where she promptly passed asleep. I couldn't sleep since I was in shock and didn't know what to think. It's been a week and we still haven't spoken about it. I'm at a loss on what to do. I'm so in love with this girl that I don't believe I'll ever be with anybody else. She's been in my life for years, and she's always been there for me despite my never-ending challenges with academics and athletics. I'm at a loss for what to do. I've been feeling ill for the last several days, but I'm not sure whether it's due to illness or stress. I haven't informed my parents since they love my fiancé, and I don't want to upset their happiness. What am I supposed to do? Edit. I apologize for the misunderstanding. I used the phrase up, presuming she had sex with the individual, but I didn't know what she did since I never inquired until last night. We chatted, and despite the fact that she was sobbing the whole time, she said that she had never had sex and had never done anything. This is what occurred. They had all ordered drinks and were waiting and chatting at the bar on the side of the club. My fiancé was unhappy and seemed to be minding her own thing, ordering drink after drink. They let her do anything she pleased for a while. According to one of her companions, a man no older than 30 was purchasing drinks next to her and establishing eye contact with her. Her buddies were unconcerned, and when she turned around, the guy started ordering her drinks, despite the fact that she was already quite inebriated. They were conversing when my fiancé's buddy approached her and asked if she was okay, to which she replied that she was fine. According to my acquaintance, the man didn't look at her and instead glanced away, and he seemed shady. The companion returned to chat to others, and when she returned to seek for my fiancé, she was gone. She and her friends had been searching for her for about 10-20 minutes when they saw her in a corner weeping and went. They asked what was wrong. She kept screaming, "He's going to hate me. Everything is destroyed. I'm so sorry." So that's the whole tale, I suppose. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I'm still considering what to do, but one thing is certain. She won't see me at a church for many years, if ever. I'll keep you up to date. Last edit. I've made my decision. I'm going to keep dating her for a while and see how things go. She consented to take the polygraph test. If it was simply kissing, I'd remain with her but not marry her. Simply put, I can't accept the idea that my future wife cheated on me, regardless of the amount of closeness. She has promised that if the polygraph reveals that she lied about anything, she would tell everyone what she did and why the wedding was called off, and I will retain the apartment. I can't hide the fact that I still adore her. But the fact that I adore her makes it all the more painful. Thank you so much for your encouragement, comments, and private messages. If someone needs to speak to me about a situation, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you once again. Story 3. My friend really needs to get her together, and I don't want to lend her money anymore. How can I tell her that kindly? My buddy is a true pot addict who is presently going through a breakup with her boyfriend, who sponsored a major portion of her expenditures. Her partner was toxic, but a significant part of the tension between them, as far as I gather from her, is that she constantly smokes pot, despite the fact that she can't afford to spend so much money on it, besides all the other undesirable effects. She was also arguing with her mother about it, and her mother pointed out that her boyfriend had been financially supporting her, and she, her mother, couldn't afford to support her anymore, so she would have to fend for herself. She has a job, yet she spends much more than she makes. In any case, I've recently been the object of financial assistance. She has long begged me to give her money, even while she was still with her boyfriend. I wanted to be a good and non-judgmental friend, so I never inquired what she needed it for. But now I believe she constantly asked for pot money since she couldn't ask her boyfriend for it. However, in recent days, she has been begging for more and more money, constantly promising to pay it back tomorrow. It's becoming annoying at this point, since I have to go into my account, take it out of my savings, and then transfer it to her, numerous times a day, because she also doesn't ask for a large sum. But more importantly, I'm worried that one day she won't return the money to me. With this breakup, she's found a man on Tinder who she's begun dating, but he lives in a different city, which means she has to pay for pricey train tickets that she cannot afford to visit him. I'm sick of her behavior and don't want to enable it anymore, but I'm at a loss for how to tell her this in a kind and caring manner. I know the last few months in her relationship have been very difficult for her, even to the point where her self-harm has been re-triggered despite the fact that she hasn't done it in 5 years. She also had a falling out with her mother, so she must be feeling really lonely right now. But I also need to establish my limits, communicate my displeasure with how she is handling the problem, and gently guide her in the proper way. Do you have any suggestions about how to go about doing this? I really care about her and want her to be happy and successful, but I refuse to continue compromising my own limits.